My name is Richard Glassco. I live in Alexandria. I work in Washington, D.C. as a transportation consultant in the area of intelligent transportation systems as a consultant to the U.S. Department of Transportation. That's my job. The activity that received the interest of the Living Legend program is my activity as the treasurer for ALIVE, Alexandrians Involved Ecumenically, and also being a math mentor for the Higher Achievement program. So those are some of the things that I do. I've lived in Alexandria for 29 years. Is it? Wait a minute, 70, 85, 95, 05, 50, almost 39 years. That's it. I moved to Alexandria in January of 1975. I was in college at the time in New York, and my parents moved to Alexandria. My father became Presbyterian minister of the Heritage Presbyterian Church just south of town. And so I helped them move in, and then when I graduated from college, I decided the Washington area was a good place to look for a job in the area of math and computers. That was my specialty. And so I came to Alexandria and lived with my parents for a short while, and then I got an apartment in the Delray area, and then a condo off Edsel Road, and I've lived for 30 years in the Seminary Valley area of Alexandria. I grew up in Northeast Ohio. I was born in Cleveland, and my family moved to halfway between Cleveland and Akron, and then to Niles in the northeast corner. And as I said, I moved to Alexandria when I was in early 20s, when I got out of college. So I'm partly Midwesterner and partly an Easterner here in Virginia. I've been here in Virginia much longer than in Ohio by now, but those are the only two major places I've lived. Alexandria is a special sort of place that I think is a neat place to live because of its historic background, but it's a good balance between being a city and having the things that a city has to offer, but it's not too big. It's not all urban. It's got a balance of types of people and activities, and has green space in it, and it has a community identity. That's what I think is one thing that makes Alexandria special. It has a town hall. It has a center of activity with the George Washington Parade and the Scottish Walk and so forth that give it a community feeling that some of the other suburbs in the Washington area don't seem to have. But then there are other parts of the city have their identities as well. I live in the West End, and I feel that Alexandria is a nice size. All the students go to one public high school. There aren't a whole bunch of different high schools, so that's a unifying force. And the churches of Alexandria are an important part of it, and that the churches have come together to make ALIVE, that I'll be talking about later. It has a good community feeling. From the standpoint of ALIVE, Alexandrians Involved Ecumenically, it came about in order to serve the underprivileged people of Alexandria. And so what is there about Alexandria that affects that? Well, the demographics of Alexandria are that there are well-off people, and that there are people who are not so well-off. And we depend on those people for a lot of our services as well. And so ALIVE recognizes that people need daycare, need food or shelter, or need furniture when they're coming out of prison, or coming out of an abuse situation. And so we want to be able to keep a wide variety of demographics in the city of Alexandria, and ALIVE provides the services to help support those people while drawing on the support of the whole community, especially through the churches, but in other community organizations and corporations and foundations and individuals as well. I was inspired to become a member of Alive through my church, Emmanuel Church on the Hill. Is an Episcopal church on Quaker Lane in Seminary Road. After I attended there for 3 or 4 years, I realized that several people I admired were active in this organization. One person in particular, Danny Bradford, who started the food distribution program as well as housewares distribution program. Those are 2 programs of Alive that deliver food and deliver housewares to people who need them in our neighborhood. She nudged me over a period of a couple months or maybe a year to get involved in this organization because it was such a great thing to do. And eventually I yielded. I said, I can't do it right away. I've got something else. But after 6 months or a year, I said, okay, I'll become a representative from my church, Emmanuel Church on the Hill, to Alive, which is an organization primarily sponsored by churches and synagogues and now the Baha'i faith in Alexandria. And what was appealing about it was that it didn't do just one thing. It didn't just distribute clothing. It didn't just distribute food. The logo of Alive is a tree with many branches, and those many branches symbolize the many ministries of Alive. It does have a shelter for women and children. It does deliver food. It does operate a preschool for low-income working families. It provides money for rent assistance and medical assistance for prescriptions and rent, and then we deliver housewares to people who need beds when they're literally starting from nothing. So those were inspirational programs to become involved with. And after a few years of being a representative from our church, I said, okay, twist my arm, I'll be vice president and then president the year after that. And I was, and those roles lasted for a year. But then after I retired as president of Alive, this was around 1990, it was evident that what was really needed was a treasurer, because our treasurer was leaving. So I like dealing with numbers. And I said, okay, I'll do that. And that's what I've been doing ever since for like 23 years. And I think that's what awes people. How have you been able to do this for 23 years? Well, the need continues to exist, and I feel a sense of satisfaction from being a part of a process that enables Alive to provide money for people who are about to be evicted from their apartments, or to pay a doctor's bill, or to get medicine for them or somewhere. And I write the checks and send the checks to make that happen, and that is a good feeling. The challenges in being the treasurer for Alive are dealing with all the questions that come up about writing checks to landlords and utility companies. And I send a check out, and then 2 weeks later they say we never got it, and I need to figure out whether to void the check and write it, or did I get the address wrong or something. And, or people who write checks to Alive that bounce, and they have to figure out what to do about that. So all the headaches of keeping a checkbook, a personal checkbook, straight are multiplied many times when you're in an organization with a budget of over $1 million a year. And dealing with auditors and dealing with banks are a frustration. And if I were a paid treasurer for a corporation, then I would be paid for dealing with frustrations like that. But I'm not. I'm a volunteer, so I have to say I'm doing what I can, and if there's something that doesn't happen exactly right, well, that's a volunteer organization, and that's the way it works. So it's not dealing with people that's the problem. It's snafus, I think, when it comes to paying. The financial matters when they go crooked sometimes. I draw inspiration from the other officers of Alive, the family emergency chairman who takes the requests for financial help and screens them and passes them on to me, and the person who manages the food program, and the person who manages the housewares program, and the person who runs the the homeless shelter. All of those are extremely dedicated, hardworking people too, and they, some of them have been recognized as well. That's an inspiration. On the higher achievement mentoring side, dealing with middle school students can be a frustration of a special category on its own when they're not keen on listening and just want to talk about other things or not talk at all. My students are boys who just don't want to talk sometimes. So frustration of trying to get them to talk. I mean, we don't have to talk about math all the time. I talk about things in their lives, what do they like to do at other times, and it takes some tricks to get them to open up and have a two-way exchange of conversation. Another program that I've been involved with is the Higher Achievement Program of Alexandria and Washington. And that focuses on providing mentoring to middle school children, mostly underprivileged children, from 5th to 8th grade. There are several wards in Washington, D.C. that participate in the program, and one in Alexandria. And my company, Nobles, wanted to find a community activity to become involved with and encourage the employees to become involved with. So what inspired me to become a mentor for higher achievement was an email from our company management that said, we suggest you check this out. And the school, Hammond School, where higher achievement meets, is less than a mile from my house. And I could pick the night. I had one free night a week, and I said, okay, I'll take Monday night. And I had the opportunity to mentor math to a group of middle school kids who it turned out that I got 3 boys, and to follow them through 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grades. And that's a different kind of good feeling that I get working through, trying to inspire some students with the joy that I get of working with mathematical concepts. They're not quite the same place I am. They like football and soccer. So they can't get excited about it the way that I do. But I get some of it through, and I believe that I have made a difference to what they've done in school. And the whole higher achievement program has achieved miraculous results with building confidence for students and seeing that they do graduate from high school and go on to college. So it's a terrific mentoring program. The math and science and literature are the subjects that are offered, and the mentors choose one night per week and one of those 3 subjects and get a group that they can follow through. I haven't been a higher achievement mentor long enough to see people go on to do great things. I've had the same group from 5th grade through 8th grade now. And yes, it's certainly there's some satisfaction in seeing them grow up and become more mature in ways, the same as my own daughters. I have 3 daughters that grew up in the Alexandria public schools, and I have been involved in leadership in some activities at T.C. Williams, in the band and in the drama programs that my girls were especially involved in. I hope that my current math students who are in middle school now will go on to do those kinds of activities in high school, and I will certainly be interested in what they do. They'll probably be at T.C. Williams. And I have a fondness for T.C. Williams since my 3 girls all went there, and a curiosity to see what kind of things happened to it, especially after they completely rebuilt the building into a different configuration, and they're always experimenting with different ways of managing the school, and with assistant principals and sub-schools and academies and so forth. They're curious about what that goes on. I got involved as a participant in organized politics for the 2008 presidential election, and at which point I made myself known to the Democratic organizers and said, what do you need people to do? And well, they need people to go around door to door distributing literature and encouraging people to vote. And so I did that for the 2008 and 2012 election. And I also did that for the most recent governor's election in Virginia. I have also worked on many occasions on signing people up for voter registration. We had a table at a shopping center or in front of the library or someplace like that, where everybody that came by, I'd call out, "Are you registered to vote? If not, come over and sign up." And that's a nonpartisan activity. But I do see a connection between my political activity and my charitable and religious activity, and that the reason that I became involved in the political process was because I felt that the responsibility for providing a decent level of living for all Americans is a political as well as a religious question. And so that the electing officials who are mostly in tune with the environment and with women's issues and with economic issues, justice for the poor and so forth, was something that I needed to do. It was a religious as well as a political duty. So I contributed my time for door-to-door canvassing, handing out material, encouraging people to vote. And for the candidates that I believe had the most in tune with the social issues that I care about. The Living Legend project is pretty amazing thing because it does provide publicity for people who are just doing their things. They're not doing it for the publicity. They're not doing it in order to get recognized or praised. So people could be doing wonderful things for many years and no one else would know about it. So what the Living Legend program does is let other people know about it and provide encouragement to people who read about it, say, well, if he can do this, maybe I could do something too. It's kind of an inspiration, and it just provides an appreciation of the breadth of different things that people do to help out in Alexandria. It's not just one type of charitable activity that is recognized. I'm always very impressed when I look at the list of nominees or the winners to say, gosh, I didn't even know that somebody was doing that. But by golly, now that I know that, I feel good that somebody's been doing that. And it might inspire me to make some connections or point someone else to work in that way. Say, I heard that this program is going on. Maybe you could fit in somewhere there. And so that as providing an inspiration to people to get involved or to just let them know what kind of things go on in our neighborhood is a community building activity. Also, from the historical standpoint, I think it's a great idea to make an intentional effort to record people, to make a record of what people do as a document of what our city is all about. It's the human side of it, not just the police reports that we see in the newspaper, but it's a good thing. The Living Legend program has grown over the last 7 years, kind of gaining strength as people join the ranks of Living Legends. And its purpose is to not only recognize the people who have been doing creative and helpful things for many years, but to provide publicity about those programs to the city and to help people throughout the city of Alexandria realize what a great place this is, how many things are going on that they might not have heard about before, and perhaps inspire them to become involved in either one of those ways that have been recognized or a different way, but to look at the city of Alexandria in a different way and recognize that there are environmental needs, that there are economic needs, that there are some people might go for bike paths in the city or for parks in the city, or other people more directly in economic help. It's inspires people to think about what is important to them about Alexandria, and the fact that somebody cares enough about Alexandria to invest a lot of time in it is an inspiration to the rest of the city as well. I think 2 years ago, there was a woman from our church, Wendy John, who was named a living legend for organizing the Emmanuel Pumpkin Patch, which for many, many years has raised money for charity. And I thought, boy, she really deserves it. And she's terrific, and I'm nowhere near being in that league. And Mike Oliver, the same way. He's the person, kind of my mentor in Alive. When he became a living legend, I thought, boy, he really deserves it, and I'm nowhere in that group at all. So when I learned that I was nominated, and then when I was selected as a living legend, I thought, wow, could this really be? It made my mother proud anyway. That's a big thing. And my wife encouraged me to go through with the application because it would make my mother proud, and it did. And it made everybody in the church and Alive proud, because it's not just me doing it on my own. I'm doing it as a part of one of these organizations. So it's bringing publicity and recognizing a whole group of people. So I feel that I'm not being recognized as an individual, but as somebody who is one piece of a program that is doing great things. I haven't started a new program on my own, but I have been a diligent and faithful worker in carrying through some existing programs for quite a while. Well, I certainly feel pleased to be recognized, but when people congratulate me for it, it's, shucks, thanks. And it's not something to get a swelled head about. It's just keep working. In fact, I said at an Alive meeting, if someone else would like to become a living legend by taking over my job, you're welcome. Nobody took me up on it. I've been a musician all my life. I started piano lessons in 2nd grade. I started playing the clarinet in 4th grade in school, and played clarinet and tenor sax through high school and college. And at the same time, I've been in choirs ever since I was in the cherub choir when I was probably 5 years old. So I grew up in church choirs. And so it was natural for me when I joined Emmanuel Church on the Hill to join the choir there. Emmanuel Church on the Hill is an Episcopal church which is known for its liturgy and for its body of religious music, much of it English. And I have been happy to be part of that for over 30 years. Some of it contemporary, more of it is classical music, and the years from Renaissance music up through the 19th century probably most greatly represented. No, I do not do rock music in church. I could, but it isn't something that we do. All my 3 daughters have sung in the King Street Singers at T.C. Williams and have been in church choirs at one time or another. I think my oldest daughter is singing in her church choir in Chicago now. And my wife sings as well. She sings better than I do. And so that's one activity that we do together. My wife and I do a lot of activities together. Singing is one. We met Scottish country dancing in Alexandria. We do the Washington Revels at Christmas time together. We like camping and boating and outdoor hiking activities outside. So we do a lot of things together, and we are fortunate that our 3 children have pretty much stayed within that fold of activity. They haven't rebelled and gone off and done other crazy things. Our 3 girls have grown up in Alexandria, starting with Polk Elementary, and then Hammond, and then Howard and T.C. Williams, but they went off to college, and they have none of them is living in Alexandria at this time. One in Chicago, one in New York City, and one in Niagara Falls, Canada. So we don't know if they will come back to Alexandria. It might, but we don't expect them to. So I think that our family, we expect to stay in Alexandria, but it's a one-generation thing, not my parents and not my children. I became a Cub Scout in 3rd grade and became a Boy Scout in 5th grade and stayed with the Boy Scout program all the way through probably 10th grade. And I was an achiever to the extent of going through the ranks of 2nd class, 1st class, star life, and earning merit badges was a really fun activity. So Eagle was the goal, and I made that. And in fact, I got the bronze palm beyond that for getting more extra merit badges beyond that. Of course, Boy Scouts are known for their camping activities, and that fit in with my family's love of camping all along. So that was an enjoyable part of scouting as far as I was concerned. After I left the Boy Scout troop, I was one of the founding members of an Explorer Post, which is the older high school age group that had a special interest in boating. We got a sponsorship from a store that sold boats and outboard motors, so they supplied us with some boating equipment as well as loaning us some snowmobiles in the winter. This was in Ohio, so we got to use them. And so there was a group of about 12 people in my Explorer Post that really did a lot of canoeing and sailing together. Since I had 3 girls, I didn't have a direct exposure to Boy Scouts in Alexandria. My girls were Girl Scouts and started out with the Indian Princess program where we did some camping out there. And now I have a sailboat and we have 2 kayaks, so my wife and I can go out together and on Powick Bay or on the Potomac, Hunting Creek or Lake Yakutank or places around here. We really enjoy paddling. So that is my scouting activity is carried over to to do nautical activities, and when we do go on vacation, we still go camping sometimes. As far as Alive goes, there are many opportunities for volunteering. So somebody who is interested in seeing what kind of things go on in Alexandria, ways to get involved, I would recommend participating in the food distribution program on the last Saturday of the month after food stamps have run out. People come and pick up food, or to participate in furniture moving, or to read to children at the homeless shelter. Within Alive, there are numerous opportunities for people to become involved on a one-time basis or a repeating basis, and have a chance to see for themselves what sort of people are out there that we serve and what the needs are. And they wouldn't have to stay with Alive indefinitely to pursue those needs, but it would be an introduction to what sort of things are being done in Alexandria to help our fellow residents. Obviously, the Higher Achievement Mentoring Program is an occasion for someone to volunteer on a regular basis to have a one-on-one or a one-to-a-few relationship with some students, and it really makes them a meaningful relationship. My church, Emmanuel Church on the Hill, every year sells pumpkins, and we're known as the Pumpkin Church. Everyone knows the field of orange pumpkins that are sitting out on Quaker Lane. And we can use all sorts of volunteers to help sell pumpkins or to help lift them off the truck and set them on the ground when the pumpkins arrive in the first Sunday of October. It's not just our church. We have many community members who participated also. And the people who come to the pumpkin patch every year, they come back every year because that they know that the money that they spend for pumpkin is going entirely to charitable causes within Alexandria and outside of Alexandria, The church doesn't keep any of that. So that's a very fun way of helping something that is directly a charity project. Just reading the newspaper of things that go on, living legends or not, is a way to find out what things are going on in Alexandria that would be good places to volunteer. I think people, whether it's children or adults, shouldn't be put off thinking, I'm only one person, what could I do? Or I don't know what to do in order to make a difference. It starts with wanting to help, whether you're a kid or an adult. And realizing that because of who you are and because you have some abilities, whatever they are, there is a way that those abilities can be used to help other people beyond just yourself. And it takes a little bit of effort, but not very much, to find out an organization in Alexandria that cares about the same things that you care about. And you don't have to make up a new program all by yourself. You can if you have the motivation. But if you just have the desire to help, it's not difficult to find an organization to become involved with that can bring you in slowly and say, here, you can work, hand out these cans of food to people that come up to the front of the line. And you begin to get an appreciation of the gratitude in people's faces and the gratitude in yourself when you realize that you are doing something that makes a difference. So it builds. It doesn't all come at once. But if you start to become involved, you will be inspired by other people, and then eventually you may find that you are inspiring other people. That happened to me. I don't think that what I do is so terrific, but when I learn that someone else is inspired to do something because of seeing me, that makes me feel really good. I'd like to be remembered as a nice guy who worked to who did some contribution to the church and to the community, and inspired others to do something like that as well. I don't expect to be remembered as somebody who started a new program or had a great vision, but I have devoted myself to a few projects for over a long time where I like to think that I have made a positive difference, as well as through raising my 3 daughters in Alexandria, and one is a teacher, and one is working in historical preservation, and the third is in the process of figuring out what her career is going to be. But that's my contribution to humanity and to our society, is to raise people in my own family or those that I help to become happy and functioning citizens of the community.